My research focuses broadly on health law, and one of the recent projects that I've been working on relates to the legalization of cannabis. I did research on the federal, provincial, and municipal regulations and presented that to a number of audiences, and have worked with researchers in other disciplines who are also doing cannabis-related research, primarily researchers from the O'Brien Institute for Public Health at the U of C. Another project that I'm working on right now relates to the overuse of antibiotics in humans and in livestock. And the overuse of antibiotics, or the inappropriate use of antibiotics, can lead people to develop antibiotic-resistant conditions. And so we're currently finding that a number of diseases that we once could effectively treat through antibiotics, like malaria, like salmonella, are now becoming resistant to those drugs. And so when antibiotics are inappropriately prescribed or inappropriately taken, people develop those resistant bacteria, and then to treat them is more expensive, and in some cases they can't be treated. So tens of thousands of people die every year as a result of antibiotic resistant conditions. And so the province, through its Major Innovation Fund, has funded a project at the University of Calgary that looks at antimicrobial resistance. And my work specifically looks at the legal dimensions of that. So how can we regulate the use of antibiotics in farm animals? How can we regulate the use of antibiotics in humans? Should there be international treaties relating to antibiotic use? And so it looks at some of those ways that we can use the law as a tool to reduce inappropriate antibiotic use. So when I was in law school, my favorite course that I took was called Health Systems Law and Policy, and it looked at some of the legal issues at the systemic level of the healthcare system. So governance issues, accountability issues, how do we decide what's funded, how do we ration resources. And so that was my favorite course in law school. My favorite course that I teach is probably still health law. And so the health law course that I teach is a broad survey course. We look at many issues: negligence, consent, public health law, end-of-life issues, drug regulation. And the reason I like teaching that course is because, of course, it forces me to keep on top of health law, and which is really a fastly evolving field. And it also is interesting to people. Everybody knows someone who had a bad experience at a hospital, or is interested in end-of-life issues or cannabis issues. The province spends pushing 50% of its budget on healthcare, so it's an issue that affects everyone as well. There's not one-size-fits-all approach to law school. There's nothing that I would say that every student should experience. But I think that law school is great because it offers people the opportunity to do things that interest them. So if you're interested in litigation, then you should do moots, or you should go to court. If you're interested in corporate work, there's a whole bunch of corporate law courses. If you like the research side of things, there's seminar courses, or you can do directed research projects with faculty. And so I think that's the great thing about law school, is that you can tailor your law school experience to what interests you.